Welcome to My Name is Nobody, a podcast that celebrates the unsung heroes of the Cleveland music scene and beyond. In this episode, I speak with singer and guitar player Joe Sumph.
It's a high time when I'm feeling fine, and I get to grooving with some friends of mine. And there's people along, dancing everywhere, music all around you, it just permeates the air.
For 30 years, Joe has been fronting some of the most prominent bands in the Cleveland music scene. More recently, the Shiz, Sumrada, and Revival, a tribute to the Allman Brothers. I sat down with Joe outside of his home in Willoughby Hills. We talked about his early days, his work with River Junction and Quasi Qua, as well as his most recent projects.
Sunshine got me feeling fine, keeps me waiting for those summer days. Sometimes dancing on my mind.
This is Joe Sumph, and these are his stories.
The sun is shining down
Yo, Sumph, how are you?
I'm doing great. So
Awesome.
good I can't stand it.
Good. You've been busy. You're in 3 very extremely busy bands, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
Mainly, we've been friends for a while, and I don't really know a lot about your history. So how did you get started, like playing guitar and singing and doing what you do?
I was a teenager. I was in high school, and I was infatuated with the guitar. Like,
Yeah.
I just loved everything about the guitar, and I just would sit in my parents' basement and play and play and play. I never took a guitar lesson in my life. I've never taken a vocal lesson or anything. I just learned by ear. And this is before YouTube and all that stuff. It's pretty easy now to learn songs.
Yeah.
You know, I
you
had to
have
actually
websites
sit
with a tablature and
with
stuff.
a cassette, play, stop, rewind, play, stop, rewind, that kind of thing.
Wearing out your record needles and stuff, like trying to learn guitar parts and stuff. Yeah, I remember those days.
And like, I just always gravitated towards the rhythm guitar players, like for the bands. I never strived to be like a great lead player. I always liked the rhythm side of it, you know, being able to play rhythm and sing and stuff like that. And that was what I gravitated towards.
When you were a young kid, just starting on guitar, did you already know you had a voice to sing, or is it just something you kind of came into your own on?
I still like little things click every once in a while. Something will click, like, oh, like that's how you can hold your breath and you can sing. Little things. And you know, I gotta give Jesse Bryson credit for because he taught me a lot about singing. He really did. Like when I was in Quasi Qua, he was like, you know, before you even walk up to that mic, you better know your part. And prior to that, I would just like blow my throat out on a Friday night and then wouldn't be able to sing Saturday because I was throat singing and I was doing all this stuff wrong.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take lessons. I kind of wish I would have, but I think I'm past that point at this point.
Never.
You're right.
I still subscribe to True Fire, so I'm still taking guitar.
That's a great website.
And bass lessons all the time. Because I'm gonna touch base on this a little bit later. But you do have one of my favorite voices in the Cleveland music scene. You're a good singer. You're very talented. But there's something about the tone of your voice that I really like, and it covers a lot of different styles. Or when you're playing in the cover band, you cover a lot of other voices well. You know, there's something about the tone that I just really dig a lot. But so you're off and running. You're learning how to play guitar, right? You're sitting down with your cassettes and your records.
Yeah.
You're playing Ace Frehley songs.
I'm like 17, 18 years old.
Right.
Like really wanting to be in a band, but I was I mean, at that point in time, I was learning like Slayer and Metallica.
That's what you started off with?
That's what I started with, learning that stuff because I was obsessed with metal. Every Iron Maiden song I tried to learn. I tried to learn every Metallica song. I tried to learn all these metal songs. And that changed because a couple of friends of mine that I went to school with, they were like, we're starting a band. It's going to be like a blues southern rock band. Like, here's a 12-bar blues. And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, we need a rhythm guitar player. And that was the Sour Mash band.
Okay.
And we need a rhythm guitar player. And I'm like, all right, I don't know. That's kind of boring, but I think I can do that. Mm-hmm. And we started rehearsing and playing, and I loved it. Like, I delved deep into the blues at that point. And started discovering all this great music, the Allman Brothers and Leonard Skinner and stuff. Up to that point, I was just listening to metal.
Yeah,
so to discover all this other great stuff, it just blew my mind. It opened up a whole new world for me. And then, you know, like maybe a couple practices in, they're like, we need a singer. So we try out a couple singers, and just wasn't really happening. You know, we really wanted to start playing gigs, and we really wanted to start making this happen. So we tried out all these singers, and I'm like, man, I think I could sing. And they're all laughing at me. They're like, you can't sing. I'm like, I think I want to try. You know, I think I can do as good as those guys. Mm-hmm. And we did like Crossroads by Clapton, which is pretty easy to sing. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
For you.
and they're all like, wow, like that was pretty good, man. Let's do another one. And we did like Hard to Handle, and we did a couple, you know, songs, and I'm like, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
And that's how it started, right there.
Huh.
You know, I just started singing, and I never stopped.
So Sour Mash was your
first band ever, yeah. I was with them for a good 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then where'd you go? Into the hippie jam band stuff?
I did, yeah. I hooked up with a couple of brothers, Dave and Gary Miller and Campoletti, mm-hmm. who I've known. I mean, the first time I ever played music was with Greg Campoletti, and that was 30 years ago.
Man.
It was 89, 90.
It's like me and Rick Searle been playing music together, you know, in the Lazy Bastards, you know, the singer. We've been playing music together since high school.
And I'm still playing music with Greg. I just played a gig with him last night. Like I'm still with that kid.
Right.
You know, like we've just he's one of my best friends, and mm-hmm. I'm very happy that we can play together.
And music. He's, again, I'm going to get into this a little later.
Okay.
One of the greatest drummers in Cleveland. Yeah. He's just phenomenal.
I agree.
Yeah. So you hook up with Greg, and
yeah, and we were jamming in his stepdad's basement in Menor. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just messing around. Nothing ever came from it. So that's why I gravitated towards Sour Mash. They wanted to play gigs. I wanted to start playing gigs. Mm-hmm. I remember I went and saw Ted Reiser at the Dolphin Restaurant at Shoregate Shopping Center. And I was like 14 or 15 years old. And I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like he was doing Allman Brothers and he was doing all that stuff. And I'm like, I want to do that. So that's what we kind of gravitated towards, being able to play gigs.
Yeah.
Like I saw a live gig when I was young, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And so I joined Sour Mash, and then after Sour Mash, I hooked up with Dave and Gary Miller and then Campoletti, and that was River Junction.
River Junction.
Which was mostly all original music. Mm-hmm. I was writing a lot then, and I was, you know, just hitting my stride as far as singing and playing, and that was a hippie jam band.
Yeah.
That was, and it taught me so much about just playing guitar and improvising and just everything. It taught me everything
which you
Really.
guys do a lot of in the Shiz.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because that's what I.
Not the hippie jam band stuff,
No,
but
no,
there's
no.
a lot of improvising.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very loose.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. I cut my teeth on that.
Yes.
You know, hey, E chord, ready? Go.
Right.
And then see where it goes.
Pass the solos around.
I loved it. I really did. I loved it. And I still do love it.
Right.
I still listen to a lot of like Grateful Dead and Allman Brothers. Like those are some of my favorite bands and some of my favorite music to listen to.
Right.
I love it.
Obviously.
It never gets old.
Being in an Allman Brothers tribute band.
Yes.
I hope so.
Yes.
I hope so.
Yes.
So River Junction, you're up and running. Wait, let me backtrack for a second here because I might have missed something. Tell me about your first gig.
Okay.
First time performing live. That's what I want to get into.
That-
Did you fall off the stage?
No, I was.
I want fun stories.
I remember this. No, I mean, like I was nervous.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I still get nervous when I play. I don't know
Really?
why. I really do. Yeah. Like
I get more
not to the
annoyed.
point where, not to the point where like I'm gonna throw up and walk off stage, but I still get like it still excites me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Sometimes I get it. It depends on the gig,
Yeah.
you know. But sometimes I still get excited, but I'm never nervous.
Yeah.
Jen's like, "Are you nervous?" You know, we did a gig in Columbus, right? It was one of those OSU Michigan tailgate things.
Tons of people.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It was like 5,000 people. You know, and Jen's like, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, "No,
just a
I'm
gig."
hungry. I kind of have to pee. Let's just get it over with." You know.
Right. And when you look at it, it doesn't matter how many people are there. It's just another gig.
Right.
You want to play good. You want to do good.
And
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that we do is so planned out,
Yeah.
you know, and systematic. Like we different
Memory.
stage
Just-
moves, yeah, for different songs and
Yeah.
different, you know, whatever. And I'm going to do this, and oh, here comes "Come Sail Away." I got to light up my guitar and walk out in the crowd, you know, and you know, so it's very systematic, and it just becomes very giggy and you know, just like any other job,
Yeah.
really. But yeah. So your first gig.
Okay, so
Sorry.
my first gig, no, that's all right. My first gig was at the After Dark in Menor. And
remember
it was
that place.
opening up for Wally Bryson, the Sitting Ducks, and the Hamilton Brothers was another band on the bill.
them.
We were the opening act,
Okay.
and we played for about, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. But it was awesome. Like
Wally Bryson was the guitar player for the choir.
and the Raspberries.
And the Raspberries. I wasn't sure if he was in the Raspberries.
Yeah, he
but
was.
I know.
He wrote all those great riffs for the Raspberries.
I know the choir.
Yeah.
I love the choir, and
I
I
do
was
too.
just talking about
cold
the
outside.
choir in my last interview. Ed Douglas studied under Denny Carlton
Oh
in
wow!
the choir. Yeah, who's still around at the Fine Arts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got your first gig under your belt.
I did, and it was awesome. Like I didn't want to stop, and I haven't.
Right.
I haven't. Like that was all I needed. That
Yeah.
one gig, and I was off and running.
And it just ruined your life.
It did, but in a good way, in a beautiful good
Because
way.
you are one of like you guys. I mean, all of you, the Shiz and everything that you do, Sumrada, Revival, which we're going to get into all of that. But you are one of the busiest guys I know.
I love it.
Yeah,
I really do.
I'm a little envious. Well, not so much right now that people are dying from being in bars,
exactly.
but
It's
you
a
know,
strange time right now.
got your first gig under your belt with the hippie band.
No, it was Sour Mash.
Oh, that was Sour Mash.
yep.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Sour Mash band, and that was like the bluesy, you know, and we gravitated towards the blues and southern rock. That was early on. Then we kind of moved on and started doing like some Bad Company and Pearl Jam, which was happening at the time and stuff like that. So we moved on to a different style of music as time went on. But
Yeah.
when I joined River Junction with Dave and Gary Miller and Campoletti, that's when things started to kick.
I should want you long time ago. Hey, I should want you, baby, long time ago. Got me messing around with this, crying on this killing flow. Listen to my first mind.
I was able to write songs. I was able to jam. I mean, we were playing bigger gigs. And those were some of the best musicians. I mean, like I've been so lucky, Rick,
Oh yeah.
To be able to play with some of these cats, and I call them cats because they're just great musicians. These cats are incredible. How lucky am I to be able to play with these guys? Like, I don't know.
That's kind of how
Blessed.
I feel about Boaterhead. They're great musicians.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just it's when you get yourself in a situation where you're playing with people who are equally as good as you or a little bit better than you, it just makes you become a better musician yourself.
Absolutely.
And like I know the four guys in the Shiz, you know, the four of you in the Shiz.
Yeah.
You have the best guitar player. One of the best guitar players I've ever heard in
Amen.
Cleveland. You got the best drummer I've ever heard in Cleveland. You got the best bass player in Cleveland.
Amen.
And you got what I think is one of the best singers in
Thank
Cleveland.
you.
And I'm like, I love, you guys are my absolute favorite local cover band.
Thank
you know, not only because you guys are super freaking talented, but you put like your own little spin on the songs.
Because we don't ever rehearse.
Well,
we
it's
just
not just-
we
it's-
just
it's
do
not
it.
just that,
We
but
just do it. It just
so relaxed.
evolves into what it is.
Right, it's so relaxed, you know. Like, and when I first started seeing you, you guys, you and Pete both were on acoustic guitars.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of like a stripped down, like unplugged type cover band.
Yep.
And like it's kind of a neat thing, you know.
Yeah,
But you
doing
guys-
Black Sabbath acoustic
Right.
is, in my opinion, like that's awesome.
But you
I
did
love
it very well. You know what I mean? Like, because you're all super talented, you know,
Thanks.
and that's the first thing you notice. That it's like, as a bass player, I go and I watch Alfredo, you know, play bass, and
He's from another planet.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, you know, like, oh, I see that guy, and I just want to go home and sell my basses and
Yeah,
quit.
smash your
I'm the
guitar.
opposite. Alfredo, I've
Inspires you.
never sat down and played bass with him, like show me something or
Mm-hmm.
anything. I've never done that. I've never even talked to him about it. But he has done more for my bass playing than anybody else, because we'll go out on a Saturday or we'll come to brunch or something. We'll watch you guys play, and I'll go home and I'll sit in my room, play bass for hours, trying to get my hand. He's got this right hand technique that's so fast,
Something.
but so smooth. I mean, he's just a machine.
It's incredible.
Machine.
It really is. And the thing, I'm telling you, Rick, I'm not even messing around. I feel like I got a winning lottery ticket in my pocket when I play with those cats.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like I'm so lucky that they want to play with me. Like, how cool is that?
Right.
It's weird. It is.
And it's, you know, I'm also very proud to call you guys, all four of you, my friend. You know,
For sure.
You guys are all friends. And you guys are just all really good people. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like there's ever any drama.
There's not.
Yeah, you guys are just all really good people. Which
We love each other and we love playing together, and
yeah.
it's always a good time. You know, just I can't say enough good things about it.
How did that band come about? How did you four of you guys get together?
So I quit drinking in like 2007, and then I stopped kind of playing gigs. I just took a little break from everything, bars and gigs and drinking and the whole 9 yards. And a couple years later, I decided, okay, I'm going to start playing again. And I started doing solo acoustic gigs all over the place.
Okay.
And I got Campoletti to come play with me one time. And him and I were just kind of messing. It was kind of like a White Stripes thing.
Yeah.
He was playing drums, I'm playing guitar, and it was cool. It was like there was some rhythm behind it, and then it felt good. And then Pete came out. I grew up across the street from Pete. We were never close buddies when we were younger. You know, he was into death metal, and then I became a Deadhead, and like it was just a little clash of the Titans.
Right.
And he came to one of my gigs. I was Oliver Twist playing an acoustic gig, and he sat in on a tune with me, and it blew me away.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gotta play some gigs with me, man. Like, and at that point, I was kind of looking for another guitar player to play with. And he's like, yeah, cool, man. Let me know. So I kept calling him. Yeah, I got this gig coming up. I got this gig, and he's like, cool. So it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Me, him, and Campoletti, and then Tim Pollock was in the band. He was a bass player. Early on in the Shiz, and it just kind of happened. Like
Yeah.
nothing was planned. Nothing was like, hey, people just started showing up when I was doing these solo acoustic gigs, and it turned into the Shiz. Like more musicians started
So
coming.
it was more organic than planned.
Yeah, and then Alfredo came into the picture, and it just gelled.
Yeah.
And it's been that lineup ever since.
As long
When
as I
Alfredo
can
came in,
remember,
and Pete was there, like it felt good. And we were able to do anything we wanted. I mean, we could do from Slayer to Muddy Waters, whatever. And the cool thing was we did whatever we wanted. Like there was no, like, we didn't care if people were dancing. We didn't care if, like, we weren't that kind of band. We did what we liked, and it just worked. It's pretty cool.
It is very
that
cool,
worked.
man. I really dig that. Favorite cover band in Cleveland.
Oh,
by
thanks,
far,
man.
Because it's so chill. You know,
It
you
is.
can have a good time, whatever, but it's not like over the top. And sometimes
No.
I enjoy over the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I do too.
But if I'm going to a Sunday brunch, I don't want to see like some rock band and blazing solos.
No.
It's really cool, really chill.
Yeah.
The sound is always perfect. It's like you have your board dialed in, you screwed everything down so it doesn't move. And you just leave it alone. You know,
That's a
it's-
good thing,
Yeah.
because I don't always see it that way. There's times when I'm struggling on stage, but you know, we just make it work.
That might be a monitor issue, though.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
so did you go from River Junction right into going
No.
solo in the Shiz?
No, see, I went from River Junction into Quasi Qua.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which is Jesse Bryson, Chuck Andrews, and John Morocco.
And you guys won a high school rock off.
Yeah.
I remember that. And I think you played at Nemus one time. I think we had you in
Yes,
there at
that
Nemus
is true.
one time. Yeah.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, and we won the Free Times Music Awards. We played that, and like there was a bunch of really, really cool gigs we played. And that was another step for me, like as far as singing. And Jesse was the lead singer for that, so I was basically doing backups. But I learned how to sing backups. I learned how to project my voice. I learned how to, and like I said, Jesse said, don't even walk up to the mic until you know your part. So that in my head, that stuck with me and it still sticks with me. Like, unless I know my part 100%, I don't even bother to try and sing something that's going to be off key or
Right.
something like that, you know?
All right, that's me. I don't know never know what's going to come out. Just it just comes out, you know. So were you in Quasi Qua the whole time?
No, I wasn't. I was in towards the end.
Okay.
Maybe 2001-ish
Okay.
to 2003-ish, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah, if my memory serves me.
But it is.
There's a lot of partying going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Quasi Qua.
Quasi Qua, and then I was in a hippie jam band called Wayward Bus, which was a lot of fun. A lot of Grateful Dead, a lot of.
That's a new one on me. The other ones I've all heard of. Heard of Sour
Yeah,
Mash,
they were
heard
from
of
the
River
West
Junction.
Side,
Okay.
but they kind of sought me out, and they were like, "Hey, would you be interested in playing with us and everything?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was just kind of floating around at that point, just learning, you know, from other people, like joining a bunch of different bands, and then I joined a band playing piano. I was
Really?
the
I didn't even know you could play
I
piano.
played piano in a band for like a year or two.
Wow.
Yeah, and because I wanted to learn how to be a better piano player.
Okay.
I never took a lesson, so I wanted to learn by ear. And the way to learn was those guys. I'm like, what's the chords? Okay, yeah, let's do this. So I played piano in a band, and then I brought the piano into like River Junction and stuff like that. Like, you know, things were.
That's weird because you don't do any keys
No,
stuff
I don't.
now in any of your
Because
projects.
we found people that could actually play piano,
Oh. Okay.
and that's why.
I was under the assumption that you were one of those people.
I mean, no.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I get by.
All right.
I get
wow.
by, but I became a really good piano player in my tenure of that, you know, particular project. But no, I would definitely, like Chris Hanna. I get to play with guys like Chris Hanna in Revival that you can't find a better piano player or Hammond B3 player. From Wayward Bus, I went back into River Junction.
Okay.
We were together for about another 3 or 4 years, writing music, recording CDs. We went out to Suma and recorded a CD, almost 2 CDs, but we kind of stopped in the middle of the second one. Dave and Gary moved to Nashville, so the band kind of broke up and everybody went their separate way. And then my next thing was like solo acoustic and stuff. Yeah.
And that's how the Shiz
and that's how everything.
So
And then from that point on, that's when I started playing like 3-4 gigs a week.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to play and play and play and play.
For some reason, I thought Sumrada came before the Shiz.
No. Mm-mm.
So you were already doing the Shiz thing.
Just the beginning of it. Yep. I was doing a lot of solo acoustic at that time, and a lot of just getting kind of rolling with the Shiz.
So how did you get hooked up with Sumrada? Because they've been a band for a long time, right?
They have.
I can
like
remember
30 some years.
I can remember seeing them.
87-ish.
Yeah. I want to say, God, early 90s. I think I saw them at the High Water in Fairport one time, and I was like, I don't remember Joe being in a band.
No. I joined them around 2010-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
2010.
Right. Did they seek you out, or did you?
Well, so the fill-in drummer at the time was Dale Shrewsbury, who's the drummer in them now.
Fantastic drummer, man.
And that's who was in Sour Mash.
Okay.
So the first drummer I ever played with in a band where we're playing gigs was Dale.
Okay.
So he said Jimmy Jack was in the band at the time, and so it was Steve Jockum, then Jimmy Jack, and then I came in, and Dale's like, Jimmy's thinking about leaving the band. You should really consider this. This would be right up your alley. Rhythm guitar, singing,
vocals with
Tracy.
And
I'm like, I'm not.
Is that her name, Tracy?
Tracy, yeah.
Tracy, okay.
Yeah, Tracy, Chuck, Ed, and Dale.
Okay.
And he's like, you should really consider this. Yeah.
Something just blew up.
And I'm like, okay, I'll look into that. And at that time, I was in a band, what was the name of it? Called the Allies, doing all 90s alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they're like, I think Sumradas came to see me play with them. And I'm like, I would like to look into that because Sumrada's a well-known name, and I can get a lot of gigs, and it would be a lot of fun. They're good people.
Right.
Really good people. So I'm like, this would be a cool thing. And I don't know exactly how it went down, but Chuck contacted me and said, let's get together for a rehearsal. And I said, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Tommy Rich was playing drums at the time. And Tommy was getting ready to move on to other things, and I said, we got to get Campoletti in here. We gotta get Greg in the band, otherwise,
I didn't know Greg was ever.
Oh, for 6 years.
Part of Sumrada.
Yeah, for 6 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm learning.
And I said,
That's the whole point of this.
Gotta get my dude.
Yeah.
And we got Greg came into the band, and it just took off. Like we started learning a bunch of new tunes, and it was a lot of fun. It still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a very fun band. You guys,
it is.
You do not fail to pack a house, man. And longevity helps, being around.
It
for
really
30
does.
Years. Yeah.
It's a service band, and Chuck's always said that. He's like, we provide a service.
Right.
Like we're not a jam band. We're not we're not going to do something that wasn't a hit.
Right.
That's just the kind of band it is, and I accept that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't bother me.
That's fine.
Do I want to not play that funky music White Boy ever again? Probably.
Yeah.
Do I not want to play Walking on Sunshine? Yeah, probably not. But I'll do it.
But you're getting a paycheck at the end of the night.
Yeah, they're good people.
Yeah.
They really are. That makes it all the better.
I mean,
they're just genuinely good people.
Jen and I have seen you a few times since you've been in the band. Like I haven't seen them before you joined the band, and we came to see you play. I haven't seen them since that night in High Water,
Right.
But it's so much fun, and I can't believe you guys will play like the Willowick Lounge or something, and it's like you can't move in that place, man.
It's
like
crazy.
You pack the house,
yeah,
and everybody's dancing. It's just such a good time.
It is a good time, and that's
they're
why I still do it.
Fantastic musicians.
It's still fun for me.
like Dale is like a machine.
He is
like
solid,
great drummer.
Solid.
Chuck's a great bass player. Everybody's super talented.
And
at
Chuck's
what they
one
do.
of the best sound men around.
Oh yeah,
like he is. Like he runs all the sound himself from the stage. A buddy of mine said, you know, how does Chuck? He saw Chuck running sound at like downtown Wilby or something, and he's like, I didn't see a bass around his neck. How was he able to run sound?
Oh yeah, without
because you know he
yeah.
runs sound from the stage, and he's always, you know, it's like I don't know how he does it, but always makes the band sound really good.
Years of practice.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't think I could do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you have this project, the Revival, Allman Brothers Band Tribute.
Another winning lottery ticket in my pocket.
Which is basically now, I don't know if it's always been this way, but now it's the 4 guys from the Shiz, plus a couple other people.
Yeah. 4 other people.
I don't know other dudes. I don't know the other dudes.
So the other guitar player is Anthony Papaleo, which is just, I mean, I don't know if you know anything about him. Check him out.
Okay.
He's got a YouTube channel, just insanely good.
Okay.
Insanely good. Like I said, I don't know how I get so lucky to be able to play with these guys. Okay? Chris Hanna on the keyboards, Hammond B3, just insanely good. Insanely good. Fred Perez Stable on the other drum kit, plays with Greg. Those two just like a weaving road. Just awesome. And then Marco DeMichele on percussion.
Okay. Plays bongos and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed like this band, like, to me anyways, and you know, I'm busy with Motorhead and Rockwood Drive and everything I've got going on. So, you know, that's the problem with musicians, is we can't always go support each other's projects because I have yet to see Revival. I have yet to see you live, because every time you'd have a gig, I'd be gigging.
It's so good. It really is. It is so good.
It seemed like this band was like, oh, look, these guys, you know, friends of mine, have this new project called Revival, and all of a sudden you're selling out like the Beachland Ballroom.
It just happened.
Yeah, it's just like overnight. It was like
so many people love the Allman Brothers, and the fact that Greg Allman has passed away and Dwayne Allman, you know, the Allman Brothers are no longer. They're never going to be again because Greg Allman. But I mean, people love the Allman Brothers. There's so many people that came out of the woodwork that just absolutely love the Allman Brothers, and I'm happy to oblige. Yeah, I love the Allman Brothers. Sure. In my top 3 bands of all time, I just love them. And it's like my style.
It just seemed to come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, like I've always loved Greg Allman.
Instant success.
Greg Allman's voice. I've always loved his voice. Like just one of the greatest blues singers of all time. Yeah. Yeah. And like I always loved those kind of voices. The Bob Segers and the.
That's who you do the best. Bob Seger.
Really?
I mean, it's almost, you close your eyes, you can't tell the difference.
Oh, wow. That's a huge compliment.
It's insane.
I love Bob Seger.
I do too.
And like that kind of voice, those are the kind of voices that I just gravitated towards. Yeah. Yeah, Greg Allman and Bob Seger and Paul Rogers and just that grit. Yeah.
Yeah, American.
I love it. Love it. Yeah. America.
It's American. Those are American voices right there, Joe.
You're damn right. And I love a lot of the English stuff too. The Stones and the Beatles, like those, I love it.
I mean,
love it.
You have to love a ton of music.
I really do.
You know what I mean?
And I do. I love all kinds of music. There's certain kinds of music I just don't know enough about, like rap and like hip hop and stuff. Like I just don't know enough about it. I don't hate it, but I love blues and metal and reggae and like I just love all of it. Yeah. Old Motown. Just love it, like Otis Redding and Sam Cooke and Al Green and all those guys. Those were the real singers.
That's what
Ray Charles is the best singer in the history of the world.
My wife's like, people don't know that music. I'm like, you don't know that music.
Oh, that's not true. People
don't know that.
I would go see that.
I mean, look at how many people dance to Yacht Rock. You know what I mean? And who knows?
Well, you guys are great.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody. You can say that about Yacht Rock. Nobody knows who, you know, England Dan is, you know, but everybody knows that song.
The song,
Yes, right.
Yep.
So
The hit.
yeah.
And that was Chuck Sumrada's point. Look, we don't want to play songs that people don't know. Because I would mention songs over the years. Hey, why don't we do this Mellencamp tune? You know, and he's like, I don't think that was too big of a hit.
Yeah.
You know, that's what gets the people moving.
Yeah.
They want the familiarity.
Yeah,
or
sure.
whatever that word is.
Right.
Familiarity.
Right.
Okay, so that's what gets them moving.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's yeah. People want to hear songs that they know that bring back memories for them. You know what I mean? Of being in high school or whatever, good times.
Yeah.
You know,
I saw that. I never really realized it that much, how important it is to play songs that people recognize until Sumrata Band.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I love playing with the Shiz, because we can do whatever we want.
Right.
And it's more of a listening band.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot of dancing going on at a Shiz gig, once in a while.
Yeah.
But we do songs that we love.
Right.
And people appreciate it, thank God.
But it's not really, it's more of the Shiz is more, you guys are more of a stripped down type. I see it that way.
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean? Things are a little more mellow. It's perfect that you guys are on stools.
It's not
and
all
playing,
top 10 hits.
right?
You know
Sunday
what I mean?
brunch and things.
It's a little
like
deep
that.
cuts. There's some deep cuts in there,
Mm-hmm.
which I love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the Sumrata Band, I mean, like you said, the dance floor is packed the entire time,
Right.
Because it's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
It's top 10 hits. It's that, you know, that whole thing. Like I said, I never really realized how important that stuff is to get people moving and grooving, and you make a ton of money. Yes.
Yep.
But
that's where the money's at. You got to play
I
songs
agree.
that people know. Otherwise, they're just gonna sit there and go, "Oh, I don't know this song. I'm gonna go to the bathroom." You know, and that's the thing that I noticed about Sumrata, because you know, being in a cover band myself, like you go out to see other bands and you kind of pay attention to what's really going on, like the whole big picture.
I do too.
And the one thing I notice about Sumrata that we do differently in Boaterhead, and we've had discussions about this, is you guys get people dancing from song one. You know,
That's
right
the
out of
point.
the gate, boom, you fill the dance floor and you do everything you can.
And then they drink.
Yeah, to keep
spend money.
Right, but to keep people on the dance floor. You know, we're always like, well, we have, and it's the nature of yacht rock. We have a lot of slower, mellow songs, you know, and I'll throw those in the first set, and then we'll build up to a dance set in the second set, and then we'll start the third set strong and
mid-tempo.
Right. And I'm just like, man, let's throw one of those dance songs, boom, right out of the gate, get people on the dance floor and keep them there.
Yep.
Because those are the best gigs, you know. There's nothing worse than playing a gig to a bunch of people sitting at tables staring at you, which is one of the reasons why I don't want to play indoor gigs during this pandemic. Because I'm like, people have to sit down 6 feet apart. I'm like, that sounds like a nightmare. You know, it's half capacity.
I agree.
Yeah, those are the gigs we hated.
Right.
You know,
and that's why we had gigs on the books. Revival did. Had gigs on the books, and they're like, well, we're going to have to do half capacity, table for two, this kind of stuff. And we all talked about it, and we're like, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, we want the energy.
Right.
We would rather pass on the money and have the energy. You know what I mean? Like, we want the energy there.
Exactly.
That's important for that kind of band. There's been a lot of bands I've been in over the years that I'm like, people like this.
Yeah.
Like, this is, even like when I was in River Junction doing all original music, and we would throw in a cover here and there, you know, just to keep people, you know,
something you enjoy playing.
There's not a big scene for original music here. I shouldn't say that. There's not a lot of support, at least back in the early 90s and stuff like that. It was hard.
Yeah.
When we were splitting like $40 between us, and the guy's like, I can give you a couple t-shirts, you know. We went on like a little tour. We went to Atlanta and South Carolina, and we went to some college towns and stuff. This was in River Junction. And it was like, it was just tough, man.
Yeah. But I mean, we're old and we have kids and family.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in no hurry to up and leave and go on tour.
Well, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money I pay a month for my house? I'm sleeping in it.
I would travel with Revival. Like, I would be willing to do something like that, because that would be the kind of thing to do it with. You know, the kind of project to do it with.
And you rightfully could.
I mean, we've talked about it. Everybody would have to be on board, but that would be the project I would do it with.
So in the Shiz, you play acoustic guitar mostly.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
What are you playing?
I play a Martin, GP, CPA, whatever thing. It's just kind of a cheapy Martin.
Okay. Cutaway.
Yeah,
Acoustic
and I've had
electric.
it forever. I've had it for at least 12 years.
Martins are cool.
And I play HD28 Martin.
I hate you. I love it.
That was my gift to myself.
Yeah. I'll trade you a Roscoe bass for it.
No, I'll pass on that, but thanks. And I play a Takamine too. Occasionally. It's a little mid-rangey, but I like it.
And now in Revival,
Yeah.
you play acoustic as well.
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same guitars.
Same
yeah.
guitars, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
But in Sumrada, you're more electric.
All electric, and then occasionally I'll play acoustic on a couple tunes
Yeah.
from Bob Seger and stuff like that.
And your
but
electric is a thin line telly, right?
it is a 90s thin line telly, and then I just got a deluxe a couple years ago with the humbuckers that I just love.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I mean that's like my main guitar now.
Yeah.
Yeah, tellies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Love
mean,
'em.
I fell in love with them years ago, and I have a 1970 Les Paul that I never play. I got a lot of old vintage guitars that I just never play.
So you got some gigs coming up.
Yeah. I
Doing your
mean,
thing.
I just want to play. I really do.
Yeah.
I want to play. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I also want to be safe, and I don't want to I don't mind playing an outdoor gig. I don't want to play indoors at this point. But I'm all about an outdoor gig,
Yeah.
and we've been able to do it safely. You know, we'll go as far to set up caution tape around the band if we have to.
Right.
You know, we set up in an area where we're away from people, and you know, we're not hugging and kissing. And,
Yeah.
you know,
No more making out with Alfredo on stage.
No, I mean those days are over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times. So I learned a lot about Joe. I learned you were in Quasi Qua.
Yeah, that was a great band. Mostly original.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a good run, Rick. I've had a good run of some great musicians that I got to play with and still get to play with.
Yeah.
I really have. It's been quite a ride.
I'm sometimes envious. Because not only because you're gigging all the time, but that you get to play in the Shiz, you know, it's like I would love to be in that band. That's
Really?
like my ideal cover band. Except I don't want to replace Alfredo. I want to play with Alfredo and have two bass players.
You like Spinal Tap or
Two
something?
bass players.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, you guys are you're my favorite cover band. I love it, and I'm glad I got to sit down and talk with you about it because I wanted. And this is the whole reason why I started doing this, you know? Like, I was explaining this to Ed Douglas in a previous interview where I was like, you know, we all have our idols, people that we look up to.
Yes.
You know, Billy Gibbons doesn't need me to champion him. I don't need to talk to him. I don't get giddy around celebrities. You know what I get giddy is sitting there watching Alfredo play bass, like my peers and people who are friends of mine.
I get
makes,
giddy too.
Yeah, that's what makes me excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, wow, look what he did. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like that bass player that's, you know, on MTV or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
And that's more exciting to me. So I wanted to do this where I can sit down with people.
Just last night I had one of those moments. Alfredo was doing something in a song that he'd never done before. It was just something up on the neck, and I'm like, yeah.
Wow, that's
like,
awesome. Yeah.
Like, do that again.
So this is why I started doing this, is like to talk to people like that I know. You know what I mean? Like, or
Well, I
even
appreciate this.
Even
This is
if somebody that I don't know wants to sit down and talk to me, I'll pick your brain about playing in bands. But it's the weekend warriors. You know what I mean? Because if you pull off something that's really cool that I see like our heroes pull off or people we idolize or whatever, to me that means more. than watching somebody who does it every Saturday night.
I agree,
you know
100%.
what I mean? Yeah, and it's more exciting, I think. And like people like you and I, been playing music for 30 years.
Yeah.
We got some stories, and they're fun, and they're entertaining, and
It's
they're
been
interesting.
nothing but fun.
Yeah.
It really has. Like there's not been too many bad times throughout my music career.
Oh, yeah.
Like where I'm just like, I'm done, or that's never happened. Like it's been a lot of fun.
Where you're done playing music, or just done with a specific
Just done
band?
with
Because I've had
done playing music, or done with a band, or done with people. Like I've been so blessed to be surrounded by just cool cats.
Yeah.
Just great musicians, great people. Mm-hmm. I really have. And Campoletti has been my partner in crime throughout basically all of it.
He's such
And
a
I'm
great
still,
drummer.
I know.
And he's a great guy.
I still get to play music with him. It's just, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I am. I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to call it luck, but I'm lucky.
I'm envious sometimes. I mean, I'm happy. I get, the older I get less jealous and more like, look what Joe's doing. This is awesome. I'm so happy for him. I'm going to send him a text and go, yeah, sweet, dude. You know what
And
I
you
mean?
have.
Yeah,
you have.
it's
You've called it out.
Yeah, and it's more about like, I don't know. The older I get, the less I care. You know,
Yeah.
about, you know.
There's no reason to be jealous of anybody. Everybody's
Yeah.
got their talent, and everybody's got their place in every band. Like
when you're younger and you're doing original music, you know, and you're making records.
you want to be great.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And you're so much competition. You know what I mean? You're trying
I hear
to beat out the other bands for gigs and whatever, and the spotlight and stuff. And as you get older, like I don't care about touring. You know what I mean? Like, or any of that. I don't.
Me either.
Nobody wants a gray-haired fat guy
Wizard
for a rock star.
Nobody wants a wizard on stage with them.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like I don't care.
I wouldn't mind a wizard on stage.
I just want to play bass. I don't care what comes out of my amp. I don't care what I'm
You're
playing.
a badass bass player.
I just want to play bass. And
Yeah.
if I make a little money at the end of the night, that's cool. I just want to play. Well, Joe, listen, I really appreciate you sitting down and talking with me, man.
Thanks,
has been
Rick.
A tons of fun. And also, this is very important for me because this is the first time that I have done an in-person interview. And I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to try to pull this off. Hopefully it works.
Oh, man.
Hopefully it works well. Hopefully these microphones have been on the whole time.
Thanks for asking me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. This
Great.
has been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
It's a high time when I'm feeling fine, and I get to grooving with some friends of mine. And there's people all dancing everywhere, all music all around you, it just permeates the air. Well, there's happiness, it's a state of mind, and I know that's where I belong all the time. Got this feeling low, clouds will blow away, and the sun will shine from here to there 4 miles away. Sunshine got me feeling fine, keeps me waiting for the summer. Sometimes dancing on my mind, raise the sun that keeps